Welcome to Protect, Suicide Prevention Training Podcast for Healthcare Professionals. I'm Manan, Consultant Psychiatrist, Founder, and Head of Faculty at Progress Guide.
Hi everyone, I'm Mahi, your Protect podcast host. Today is the second episode of season 3. 38 episodes in season 1, which was 2022, and then 1 episode in season 2, that was 2023, and now the second episode in season 3, 2024. So technically we're already at our second best year.
That just sounds awful.
Yeah, we need to do better.
But it's technically correct. But we are already recording our second episode. So this would be 2 back-to-back weekends that we are at it. So
I think that's pretty good.
Getting things back on track. Yeah.
So Manan, are you being true to your hashtag 10M2040? Are you making progress towards touching 10 million lives with hope and healing?
By 2040, you mean. So my basic idea is that, I'm 49. So if I retire at 65, I've got a 16-year window to do this before I hand over the baton to you. So, actually, we've had a good response to the app. So has been less than, we are recording on the Friday night. So it's the 12th. So it's been 12 days that
it's got, say 2 weeks, something like that.
It's less than 2 weeks, actually. So it went on the iOS on the 11th of June. On the 1st of June. So, so it's only been 12 days that we got the word out. It has been on Android Play Store for a little bit longer. We've already had 220 downloads, which is not bad.
That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah. It's not bad at all, I think. So 10 million, and this is, stay with me. So this is the calculation that I've got. So every year I would do talks, 2,000-3,000 people over the year that would kind of listen to talks in different conferences, different settings where I am presenting. So of that number, if about 1,000 professionals, say, download the app, right? So that's my target in a year, 1,000 professionals downloading the app. Now, if 1,000 professionals download the app for the next 10 years, so that would be 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, each professional most people working in mental health would have had interaction with 100 people in suicidal distress in a year, right? So let's say they get 100 more people to download the app, right? And if you multiply that by 10, that's 1,000, right? So 1,000 people that each professional can, over a 10-year window, can ask people to download the app because it will help with safety planning, it will help with the resilience plan, and there's every reason to do that. And 10,000 times 1,000, I think I've got the maths right here, 10 million,
that's 10
right?
million.
10 million. So maybe not 16, I've given myself 16 years. So we could reach this goal by 2034, 2 years after the Brisbane Olympics, we might reach this goal. So give ourselves a 30% failure rate in terms of hitting the target. We should still hit the goal before I hand over the baton to you sometime in 2040 for you to take it forward.
Yeah, it does make sense. Let's hope we hit it.
We can keep trying. And it's a request to all the listeners, please download the app. A lot of those exercises are best done with other people, other professionals, or maybe even family members, because that's something, the value stuff is something that each family should be doing. And if you're a professional who has downloaded the app and if you find it useful, please do ask patients to download the app, because then they can have all the material in their hand, because a lot of this stuff is guided self-help. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we will be able to get to our goal with your help, of course.
Yes, we do need your help. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I was hoping that we could go through some of the features, some of the sections, maybe the hope overview, given that's one of the first things that people see when they log into the app. That's one of the first things. So,
and I think I should just mention again, the best way to follow along is to download the app. Obviously, if you're driving, don't look at the app. But if you're at home, maybe pause this podcast and download the app in Google Store or App Store. Just type in Safe Life Guide. It will be there. And that's the best way to, follow along. So do you want to talk us through the interface?
Yeah, that's a good idea. So, of course, when you download the app from Google Store and Play Store, so you type in Safe Life Guide, it comes up. It's the one with the two little flames, which is Progress Guide logo. That's the one you're going for. So you download it and you install the app. After you install the app, of course, it takes you through a login process in which, you can log in with your Gmail or you log in with your Apple ID or you create an account. You do what you need to do. You log in. It sends off a verification code. The verification code should go to your email. For some people, the verification code, if you are using a work email, might end up in your junk or in your spam or in your promotion for Gmail as well. So you go in there, you get the code. It's a 6-digit code so that and you provide that verification code. These little safety features are about maintaining your privacy. I know it's a little bit of a pain doing that. We have gone to a great expense to hold the data in Amazon web servers, which are incredibly secure. And these double verification things are what HIPAA suggests that we should be doing in order to keep your data safe. So it's only one time. I know it's a bit of a pain. Everything, there's a double verification nowadays. Just do it so it keeps your data safe and people cannot hack into it with that double verification system. So when you log in, you get a choice of what do you want to focus on. Do you want to focus on resilience or do you want to focus on safety? So I am assuming most of you all, if you are a professional, you would want to be focusing on your own resilience, because this is not just for people in suicidal distress. This is for
everyone.
Basically. Yeah. So students at school, in university, for professionals, we can all benefit from a little bit more resilience, a little bit more wellness, and good positive mental health. So click on the option which says focusing on resilience, and you get into the hope view.
So above the toggle button, what is the bell icon?
Yeah, so that bell icon is for notifications. So our plan is to send out maybe a notification once a week. That's what I was thinking of, like a well-being notification. So yeah, turn that on in your notification space. We promise not to overwhelm people with notifications because I know it can be annoying. So once a week is what we were thinking. Just little nudges for people to be living healthy and investing into their mental health and mental well-being as well.
Yeah. And the prompt for the mood check-ins?
Yeah, so that's a really nice little innovation. If you touch the little downward arrow, you will find that 5 little mood icons open up, from feeling very sad all the way to feeling almost, very happy. So there are those 5 things. And if you touch them, so today how I'm feeling. So if I do the one which is, so say number 4, and that then clocks that into the mood diary, and you can navigate to the mood diary. Of course, if you are feeling incredibly sad, the app will actually prompt you to, do you want to go to the safe view? Yeah, so this is a quick mood check-in, and you can use the mood diary at a later date to see how you have been going. It takes about 10 seconds. And it's a good way to keep track of your mood. So I would actually recommend doing that on a regular basis towards the end of the day. It doesn't take long at all. You don't have to write lengthy journal notes. Just a quick mood check-in.
And it takes like 2 seconds.
2 seconds, yeah.
And the inspiring quotes underneath it?
Yeah, so we actually work quite hard in choosing these quotes, and it comes from a bank, so it will be kept fresh. So it's a really nice way to start your day, read an inspiring quote. If you need a pick-me-up at the end of the day, that's quite nice as well. So like today, the quotes that are running through, here's one by T.S. Eliot. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Yeah, it's a beautiful, inspiring quote.
And one by Ray
Bradbury.
Yeah. Jump and you'll find out how to unfold your wings as you fall.
Yeah, these are beautiful quotes that have been handpicked, supposed to give you a bit of a pick-me-up or start the day on a positive note.
And the images behind them are really pretty.
Yeah, and it will keep it fresh as well. So the images change automatically every week, so you have a new, fresh feel to the app as well.
Yeah, and earlier you did mention that it's guided self-help. So where is the guidance?
Well, the guidance, as you can see right on the Hope view, you can see there's a video right over there. So Hope and Introduction, it says. So if you want to listen to the video, watch the video, that will be the guidance. And when you go into each of the sections within Hope or in the Safe view on each of the steps where you see edit, You go into edit and there are videos inside as well. I'd strongly recommend watching the video the first time round because that will take you through the theoretical construct and it will make the whole process much easier. There are also other things like top tips. So when you go into, say, I'm just clicking on the edit button here and it takes me inside helps or harms. So you can see your 2 helpful actions. There's an I button over there. And when you click on the I button, it opens up a little top tip, actions that help take you towards the person you want to be and will be aligned to your values. So there are little prompts like that everywhere. In the app, wherever you see an I button, there is...
To explain it a bit more.
Yeah, explains it a little bit more. But I would actually recommend watching the videos that are there in there. I know you might get a bit sick of my voice, but it will provide you with a bit of a theoretical construct around how you go about the hope view, or for that matter, the safe view as well.
I mean, you mentioned that this is an evidence-based approach called acceptance and commitment therapy. Is this something that you go over in the Protect training?
Yes. So in the Protect training, we do a lot of acceptance related stuff. So Protect is non-denominational. We beg, borrow, steal from everywhere. So there's a lot of stuff relating to radical acceptance. From dialectical behavior therapy. There is stuff relating to acceptance from motivational interviewing, where we are getting people to try and go from a pre-contemplative phase to a contemplative phase. And we expect professionals who are trained in Protect to roll with the ambivalence the person is facing towards change. And of course, there's acceptance and commitment therapy itself and mindfully being able to accept what you are going through at this point in time.
And in the guidebook and workbook, what chapters does it relate to?
So I'm doing this from memory, so you shouldn't quote me, but I believe the chapter 12 is very relevant because it talks about the radical acceptance bit and some of the motivational interviewing strategies in terms of professionals rolling with ambivalence. But it's primarily chapter 17, the last chapter in the Aspire module, which specifically focuses on this aspect of hope and covers the hope framework in a lot of detail. So if you have got the guidebook, go to chapter 17 and that's where you will find the hope framework.
Chapter 17 or 12?
No, so chapter 12, there is a lot of stuff covering acceptance stuff around motivational interviewing, but chapter 17, the last chapter, provides the hope framework based on which this part of the application in Safe Life Guide has been built.
Okay. So from what I understand, hope is based on the Aspire module in Protect. So in Inspire, the A stands for acceptance to actions. Acceptance sounds like...
You mean aspire rather than inspire, which is also a beautiful word, I guess.
Aspire. So I guess acceptance sounds like giving up or giving in, but that's not what you want people to do. Can you elaborate more on this?
Sure. So it's a really good point because a lot of people would actually think acceptance is about giving up. But, when people are going through a difficult time, adversity, that can be really difficult. It can be challenging, daunting at so many levels. The reality is stark, and often the reality of what they're going through, it equates to or causes emotional pain. So pain is nature's way to communicate with you that something that is important, right? Something that is deeply meaningful to you is amiss or has fallen apart, right? That's what emotional pain is.
Yeah.
Now, think about yourself. Think about you've just finished school. What would you have found, or maybe answer the question, not what would you have found emotionally painful, what would be meaningful to you?
I guess my friends that I've grown up with, and now obviously I've graduated, so don't see them as often. Or maybe when I was back in school, the assignments and the exams I had to take.
Yeah, so performing well in exams.
Yeah.
Or when you left the UK for Australia, you gave up all your friends, all the people we knew. That would be something that's important to you. So say, for example, if you thought of, say, someone who's going through school, okay? And they are hoping to get good grades and get into a particular university and do a particular course, and they don't make that grade. And they had a projection about a future, and that does not come true. Now, if it was not important to them, it would not cause any pain at all.
Yeah, they wouldn't feel anything.
Yeah. But so if you have, you may feel sad for a neighbor who has, I cite this as an example. If your neighbor has lost their beloved dog, you may feel sad for the neighbor, but you would not get incredibly distressed over it. Well, at least I hope not. But if the loss was something really meaningful to you, like not being able to get into a career of your choice or a friendship that was, 10, 15, 20 years old, and that's fallen apart or broken up due to a misunderstanding, then it would be really painful.
Painful, yeah.
Yeah. So nature would find a way to communicate with you through pain. Maybe not the neighbor's dog, but if it was your own dog and your own dog passed away with whom you had
grown up with.
Yeah, like they were family for you, that would cause intense emotional pain. And that's nature's language for you.
So what happens when someone is experiencing high levels of emotional pain?
So when this happens, when people are, something's fallen apart, a relationship has fallen apart, something meaningful that they were working towards has fallen apart, or there's a loss, a bereavement, some legal trouble, physical health problems, it could be endless. But when something has fallen apart, people often get quite self-critical and they want to pull themselves together. In the UK, we used to talk about the stiff upper lip. The harsh voice in one's mind begins to ask, what's the matter with me? Why can't I take this in my stride? Now, the question, what's the matter with me, makes the self-critic even louder, like it amplifies it. What's the matter with me? And I have to justify myself. And it compounds pain, emotional pain, into suffering.
So where does the hope framework fit in?
So using the hope framework, what we intend to do is we want to transition from what's the matter with me to what matters to me. Now, it seems like a small change in words, just playing with words, but actually it's seismic in the way in which you look at your life. If you can change the lens, from what's the matter with me to what matters to me. If you can answer this, it may help you see the source of pain clearly. It will help you understand why does it hurt so much? Because, if it was not meaningful, it would not have caused pain.
Yeah.
Now, this may help you, just knowing where the pain is coming from. This may help you create room for acceptance and provide grounding for the path ahead.
But the thing is, what matters to me are also the things that make me feel happy and bring me joy.
That's exactly right. Right. So it's not just those things that make you sad. So what matters to me does not just reveal the source of your emotional pain, but it will also reveal the source of hope, the source of comfort. For example, it is the people that matter to me, whether that be at home, whether that be at work, that make life meaningful, that make life worth living. It is the pursuits that are important to you, like the piece of work that I do in suicide prevention. It gives my life meaning. In that I draw strength. So we often find the healing strength of hope in the things that matter to me. So even that can create room for acceptance. You discover that the source of pain and the source of hope are one and the same thing, because your friends might have caused you emotional pain, but the hope that you would be able to heal that, or say a rupture in a friendship or in a relationship, that might be the source of hope as well. But that you can't do that when you just fight reality.
But then what happens if you reject reality?
So look, reality is what it is, and rejecting, denying, or avoiding reality, it does not change reality.
Yeah.
Rejecting reality, it's like a cloud that surrounds pain, and it interferes with one's ability to see it clearly. So say, for example, we were talking about someone getting into uni and not getting the grades, right? So now they can pretend, they can reject reality that they haven't got into their
uni of choice
or their career of choice or the subjects of choice, but it's not going to change that. Now, they would need to put in more efforts either to improve their grades or take a bridging course. They will have to do something about it. Or they can choose to keep rejecting and denying and avoiding reality.
So are you saying that there's a choice in this matter?
So as I said, I think saying choice is perhaps a bit simple because the person may be in a lot of emotional pain and that's not a nice experience, so they're rejecting it. But you can choose not to see it. As I keep saying, reality is what it is. And problems that are difficult to see clearly are difficult to solve. As a psychiatrist, this is a really common conversation that I have with patients, that people who are struggling, if they are not accepting what they are going through, just doesn't work. Rejecting reality, what it does is it transforms pain, emotional pain, into suffering. Suffering comes from resistance and refusing to accept reality as it is in the moment. When you put up that fight, the facts regarding the past and the present and reasonable possibilities of the future, that's what you need to accept. However daunting they may be, just accepting them as they are
will reduce the suffering.
Yeah, it has a grounding effect.
Yeah.
So acceptance does not mean giving up or giving in. That's what you said right at the very beginning. In fact, it's exactly the opposite, because that first chapter in Aspire is acceptance to actions. It is the first step in the healing process and enables a person to take meaningful action.
That is deep, but don't you?
It is deep. It is deep. But I'm not far from the truth here.
Yeah. But don't you think that people who are struggling, they might get a distorted sense of reality? Like, I know that people who are depressed, they get a negative sense of self, of their world and their future. Isn't there a danger that, I don't know, they might accept a version of reality which is not actually real?
Not really real, hey? Yes, I think that is spot on. But when I'm saying reality, the word states it that, of course, I accept that there are multiple versions of reality, what is their truth in the moment. But acceptance of reality also implies that one should be able to distinguish out reality from thought distortions, right? Like, say, a thought distortion like, my mother hated me from birth, so they have somehow worked that out. Or exaggerations, jumping to conclusions. Everyone hates me, right? Yes, there may be people who hate you, but there are, I'm sure, people who also like you and love you for who you are. Or thought constrictions. The only solution is to abandon my hopes and dreams. And I get to see this a lot with people who are in suicidal distress, that, the only solution that they can see is to take their life. That's the only pain relief option that they can see. Now, if you know reality for what it is, you will know that these things are not reality. But I do accept that this is where professional help might be needed, and just the guided self-help component is not enough. So the resilience and wellness action plan, hope, that's for people who are generally doing well and you're focusing on your resilience. If people are struggling with severe depression, yes, this might add certain things to it, but it's also important that they're working with a counselor or a psychologist or getting a psychiatrist who can prescribe antidepressant medication.
So basically you're saying it's not a replacement for professional help.
Absolutely. When you need a professional, you need a professional. But this is focusing on resilience, on your day-to-day wellness, and it's something that everyone can use.
So bringing it back to acceptance, you are saying do not fight the past or the present?
Yes, often there is not much that can be done with the past or the present. And you might end up fighting it and reacting to it. But the truth is, there is always something to be done in the way in which one responds to it. So the central theme is that if one wants to influence current reality through one's response, through one's actions, it requires us first to accept reality, because reality is what it is.
So the key message for our listeners is?
If we did respond through acceptance of reality, we have the power to transform unbearable suffering, i.e., what reality feels like in the moment, back into bearable pain, right? So going back from suffering, back into emotional pain.
Can you provide like a broad overview of hope? I understand there are 4 steps.
Yes, so acceptance does play a large part in this, and it's the underpinning of the entire hope framework. But there are 4 broad sections, and we'll cover them systematically as we go through these podcasts. Hopefully, we won't stop at the second episode and say season 2 is over. So in the hope framework, you'll go through 4 simple steps. You will be asking yourself what helps and what harms. It's a simple question which we believe is absolutely transformative. What helps, what harms? You will spend time identifying your values. These are the qualities you want to bring to your actions. You will think through the people that matter to you, what matters to you, the meaningful pursuits in your life, and then underpin them with values, relate them back to values. And in the final step, you will be enacting these values through small steps, small practical actions that you can take. Live your life in keeping with your values while being true to yourself and pursuing your life goals and living a life that is rich, full, and meaningful with the power of values. That's what the Hope Framework is about.
And talking about values, you should follow our Instagram account at progress.guide for a special surprise coming up. So make sure you're following that and stay tuned.
Is it progress.guide or that's website?
Well, if you search our Progress Guide, our Instagram account will come up.
Okay, yeah. So, and this surprise is over the coming week or weeks, or what are we talking about? What's the
Coming weeks, but
coming weeks?
we're
Okay.
going to keep it a surprise. So stay tuned.
Okay, all right.
What did you want to end it on?
Well, I think the theme of today has been accepting reality for what it is. So it would be appropriate to end it on that. So in order to build resilience, that's a really important value to grasp, is this value of acceptance. Creating room for acceptance, because acceptance can stop emotional pain in its path and stop it from becoming suffering. And if it has become suffering, creating room for acceptance might bring it back to emotional pain. And you can then chip away at the source of the pain or raise your threshold to the pain as well. But we will talk a lot more about it as we work our way through the Hope Framework on Safe Life Guide. Do remember to download it and spread the word and help us touch 10 million lives with hope and healing by 2040.
So hashtag 10M2040.
That's it for today. Help us spread the word. Thank you very much for listening.